right, I'm going to go ahead and get started since it's 11. What today's lesson is on 3.5, it's called Systems of Equations in 3 Variables. What we're going to start off with is actually a systems of equations in 2 variables. And I'm going to work this one by hand to show you what the steps are. But then if you have your calculator, you're going to want to get it out because we're going to do a lot of work in the calculator today. I'm going to show you how to work these using the matrix function that is in your calculator. Now, when it says to solve by the elimination method, what it wants to happen is it wants you to be able to add your equations straight down and eliminate either the x's or the y's. Okay, so these 2 equations are actually set up very nice for that, because if I add these 2 equations together, that 3y and negative 3y will cancel each other out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So again, just adding these 2 equations straight down. So I have 6x plus 8x, which gives me 14x. The y's cancel each other out, right? Because you have a positive 3y and a negative 3y. So if I add those together, they just eliminate. Negative 45 minus 81 gives me negative 126. Oh, did y'all see that? Everybody mute yourself. That way if there's background noise, it won't switch. Oh, well, can I? I wonder if I can. Uh-oh, what did I just do? Yeah, just make sure your mic is muted so that it doesn't keep switching back and forth thinking that you were talking. Okay, so now if I've added these 2 together and eliminated my y's, I just have an equation that needs to be solved for x. Okay, so if I solve this for x, that means I just need to divide both sides by that 14. So now the 14s cancel. Here's my x equals, when I do that division, I have negative 126 divided by 14, which gives me negative 9. So now I know what the x is. And once you know what one of the letters is, you can actually go back to either one of the original equations and replace the x with this negative 9 that I now know that x is. So if I replace my x, if I go to this top one and replace the x with negative 9, I will have 6 times negative 9 plus 3y equals negative 45. So again, all I did was go back to the original equation and replace the x with what I now know x is. I know it's negative 9. So now I can solve this equation because the only unknown now is the y. So I can solve it for y. So let's see, 6 times negative 9 gives me negative 54. Plus 3y equals negative 45. Solving for y, so I'll get rid of the minus 54 with a plus 54. So now I have 3y equals negative 45 plus 54 gives me 9. And then divide both sides by that 3 to get that the y equals 3, because 9 over 3 is 3. So now you have solved both of these equations for their x and their y. These 2 numbers would check in both of these equations. And what you're finding is if I solve both of those equations for y, put them in my y equals and graph them, they would cross at this point. What you're finding is an actual ordered pair of a point where these two lines would cross each other on a graph. So when you enter your answer, it's actually going to say, right as an ordered pair. So when you enter your answer, your ordered pair would be the x is -9 and the y is 3, which is where those two lines would cross. So now I'm going to show you how to solve this equation situation. This is actually by far the easiest one in the whole section and by far the least amount of paper and work that it would take. I'm going to show you how to solve this one using your calculator. So if you have your calculator, what you're going to do is you're going to go to this matrix function. So hit second and then hit the matrix. So it's going to give you something that looks like this. You may not have anything right here. So it's got several different things. What you're going to do is you're going to create two matrices. Okay, so I'm going to erase this part that we're done with and show you how we're going to work the rest of these. Each, you're going to have a matrix that uses the numbers from this side of the equal symbols, and then another matrix that uses the numbers that are on this side of your equal symbol. So just using the numbers, not the x's and the y's, let's write what this is going to look like in here, and then we'll put it in our calculator in just a second. So I've got 6, 3. Again, I'm just using the numbers. So 6, 3. Down here I have 8, -3. And in this one, I'm going to have these two numbers. So -45 and -81. We're going to put this into our matrix A and this into our matrix B. Now, when you are going to use your calculator to create matrices, the first thing you're going to have to do is tell it the dimensions of the matrix that you're trying to create. And what I mean by that is the dimensions tell your calculator how many rows are you trying to make and how many columns are you trying to make. So let's look at this matrix A. The first number of the dimension is how many rows, which is how many are going across, which in this case would be 2. By the next number of the dimensions is how many columns, which in this case, again, since there are 2 columns, it'll be 2. So matrix A is going to be a 2 by 2. Matrix B has 1, 2 columns. Oh, not columns, saying the wrong word. 2 rows, right, across. But it only has 1 column going up and down. So it's going to be 2 by 1. So here are the 2 matrices that you're going to put in your calculator. So let's see how to do that. So again, I went to second, and then right above the X to the -1 button, it says matrix. So you're going to hit that. So the first step you're going to do is you're going to create matrix A and matrix B. So you actually need to hit your right arrow to get over to edit. Because when you're editing, that means you're creating, you're making the matrix that you want. And hit enter. So this is the last, I don't know what, y'all might have something completely different in here. This is just the last matrix that I created from my last class. So here's what you're going to have to do. What do I need to tell matrix A to be? What are its dimensions? Matrix A's dimensions need to be 2 by 2. So I need to hit 2, which changes that to a 2, then hit enter, and then hit 2 again. So that changes, that's going to change my matrix to 2 by 2. So you notice what it did is it took that other column out of here. Now you're going to put the numbers into this matrix. So my first row needs to be 6, 3. So that's what you're going to enter. 6, enter, 3, enter. So you notice that my top row changed to 6, 3. Now my bottom row needs to be 8, negative 3. So that's what I'll make it. 8, enter, negative 3, enter. So that created matrix A that goes with this problem. Now I need to create the matrix B that goes with this problem. So again, I'm going to make a new matrix. I want to go to matrix B. So hit second, matrix. I'm still creating. I want to make a new matrix. So go over to edit. I don't want to change what I just put in matrix A. I want to make a new one in matrix B. So go down and hit enter. Again, the first thing you're going to have to do is tell it the dimensions. So these need to be 2 by 1. So 2, enter, 1, enter. So what I put in there is the negative 45 and the negative 81. So negative 45, enter, negative 81, enter. So that it goes with this problem. So now, here's what I want to do now. I want to quit everything I'm doing. So just hit second and then the button right next to it. That'll quit and put you on the home screen. So now what you want to tell your calculator to do is matrix A to the negative 1 matrix B. And I know this seems like a lot of work. Why are we doing all this work when it actually took less time to work that problem out? Once you get used to punching this into the calculator, and once we get to problems that have more than 2 equations, this by far is going to save you a ton of paper and time. So here's what I want to tell my calculator. I need matrix A. So again, go to second, matrix. Now, you're not going over to edit. You're staying right where you are because these 2 matrices that I created are what's stored in here. And I want to use this matrix A that I just made. So just hit enter. So you should have matrix A pop up on your home screen. After that, now I need to that negative 1. If you will look, there is, right here is the button that you want to push. It's not going to put the X, it's just going to put that negative 1 exponent. And then I need matrix B. So go to second, matrix. This time I want to use the B that I have stored in. So down, and hit enter. So I should have matrix A to the negative 1, matrix B, hit enter, and there's your answer. Negative 9, 3, which is, now that I've erased it, but that's what I got when I worked it out by hand. Okay, now the rest of these I'm just going to do in the calculator. We won't even have time to do all of them. So I'm going to do as many as we can because you're essentially just really getting used to how you use the matrix function in your calculator to solve these. All right, let's look at number 2. Now, this one wouldn't be as straightforward as that last one, because remember the last one, I had positive 3y and negative 3y. So when I added them together, the y's eliminated, which is what you want to happen. That doesn't happen if you add those together this time. So this one would actually take a lot more work to solve by hand. So we're just going to turn these into our matrices that we want and use our calculator. So again, remember, you are using the numbers. So my first row will be 5, 3. My second row will be 3, and then in front of that y would be a negative 1. Then up here, this next matrix would have a negative 11 and a negative 1. So let's put these in our calculator. So what I want to do now is go to Edit and create a new matrix A and matrix B. So second matrix. Now, remember, I'm making new matrices now, so I'm going over to Edit. I'm going to make a new matrix A. I want it to be 2 by 2 again, right? Because still it has 2 rows, 2 columns. So you can actually just hit enter, enter, because it's already 2 by 2. Type in your numbers. So my first row needs to be 5, 3. My second row needs to be 3, negative 1. So make sure that your matrix that you made matches the numbers that are in the problem. Now make your matrix B. So second matrix, over to Edit. And don't forget, go down to B to make your second one. Again, it's 2 rows, 1 column, so it's the same dimensions. So just hit enter, enter, and then type in your new numbers, which will be negative 11 and negative 1. Now you want to get out to your home screen, because now I'm going to use the 2 matrices that I just created. So I'm just going to quit. So second, quit to get back out to your home screen. Now is when you're going to want to do the matrix A to the negative 1, matrix B. So second matrix. Now I want to use the A that I just made, so I'll just hit enter. And I'll hit my X to the negative 1 button. Now I need the B that I just made. So second matrix, make sure to go down to B, enter. So you should have matrix A to the negative 1, matrix B, hit enter, and there's your answer. Negative 1, negative 2. So remember, when you type this in, you do enter it as an ordered pair. Okay, number 3 is a lot the same, but it does have something you need to look at before you can make your matrices. Something's not in the right order. So the first thing I noticed about this one is in this second equation, my X's and Y's are not in the right spot. I need to flip-flop them so that they will be under the X and Y of the top equation. So before you can make your matrix, you need to do that first. So let's see, in front, move its sign with it. I'll need the negative 2X. And then behind it, the positive 7Y. Equals, just drop down that negative 4.5. So all I did was flip-flop those two terms. Now I don't need to look at that. I'm making my matrix from these numbers. So let's see, my matrix A is going to be 6, negative 9. Matrix B, not matrix B, the bottom of this matrix A will be negative 2, 7. And then my other matrix will be 7.5 and negative 4.5. So again, I want to make two new matrices, a new matrix A and a new matrix B. So when you go to matrix, by getting second matrix, remember, you want to go over to edit and make a new matrix A. Again, it's still a 2 by 2. We haven't moved on from 2 by 2s yet. So just hit enter, enter. Type in your new number. So 6, negative 9, and negative 2, 7. So again, double check that you put your numbers in right. Now make your matrix B. So again, second matrix. Go over to edit again. Don't forget to go down to B and hit enter. Matrix B is still a 2 by 1, so hit enter, enter to tell it I'm staying 2 by 1. And enter your new numbers, which are 7.5 and negative 4.5. So again, double check that you put your numbers in right. And then go to your home screen by quitting. So go to second, quit, come to your home screen, and then use the matrices that you just put in. So second matrix, I'm going to use this matrix, so I'm just going to hit enter. Hit your X to the negative 1 button to get your negative 1 exponent. And then matrix B. So second matrix, don't forget to go down to B and hit enter. So your answer would be 0.5, negative 0.5. If you have ever, when you're doing this, if you are ever getting something that says error DIM, which stands for dimensions, that usually means when you were doing this part, you maybe typed in matrix A twice. You can only do these if they're the right dimensions. Okay, we're going to skip number 4 just because we don't have enough time to do them all. And we're going to go to number 5 and 6 before we get to doing these same kind of equations, but now we're going to add another equation and another letter. But before we get to that, number 5 and number 6. Number 5 asked you which one of these equations is linear and has 3 variables. The first one has 1 over x plus 1 over y minus 1 over z equals 1. Well, it's not that one because even though there are 3 different variables, there is an x, a y, and a z. This would not be linear because your variables are in denominators. Your second multiple choice option is this. This would be linear because there's no x's in denominators, there's nothing squared or cubed or anything like that. Every variable is just its variable. They're not in denominators. So this would be actually your answer. And the other two, that only has 2 variables, and the last one only has 1 variable. So that's why it's not either one of those. It's only that one. Now, when you solve these, remember on the first ones that we did, we got an answer and it was an ordered pair with numbers for x and y. Well, now we have x, y, and z, which means your answer is not going to be called an ordered pair. It's actually going to be called an ordered triple because you're going to have an answer for x, y, and z. So your answer will have numbers in those 3 spots. So when you're looking on number 6, it would be A, right? That's what the answers are going to look like. They're going to be called ordered triples. That one has some kind of braces or something around it instead of the parentheses. So that's why it's not this one. Okay, so let's solve some of these. Let's go to number 7. We've got x plus y plus z equals 2. Two x plus 4y plus 2z equals 6. And negative x plus 8y minus 3z equals 5. I'm going to use the same method that I solved the other equations. So I'm going to make my matrices. The numbers on this side of the equal signs are going to create my matrix A. And then these numbers will create my matrix B, just like always. So when I create matrix A here, the number in front of x is a 1, the number in front of y is a 1, and the number in front of z is a 1. So you've got all 1s across the top row. Second row will be 2, 4, 2. And third row, in front of this x is a negative 1, 8, negative 3. And then this one, matrix B will be 2, 6, 5. So these matrices have different dimensions than what we have been doing. Okay, because I added a whole nother equation and a whole nother letter. So let's talk about what these dimensions. Remember, the dimensions of your matrix are the number of rows going across by the number of columns going down. So this one now will be 1, 2, 3 rows by 1, 2, 3 columns. Matrix B will have 1, 2, 3 rows by, there's still just 1 column here. There's only one thing going up and down. So that's what your new matrices are going to be. So let's type these in. So I'm going to go to second matrix. Now I'm creating a new A and B, right? Anytime you're creating, make sure you're going over to edit. So the first thing I'm going to do is create my new A. Now this time I do need to tell the dimensions to change because it's not 2 by 2 anymore. It is 3 by 3. So 3, enter, 3, enter. So look what it did. It changed it. It gave it another row and another column. Now I just need to, just like always, fill in my numbers. So my first row will be 1, 1, 1. So just type in your first row, all ones. Second row will be 2, 4, 2. So 2, enter, 4, enter, 2, enter. And the last row will be -1, enter, 8, enter, -3, enter. So make sure, double check, make sure all your numbers are correct. 1, 1, 1, 2, 4, 2, -1, 8, -3. And then make your matrix B. So again, second matrix, go over to edit. Don't mess up your new matrix A, make sure you go down to B. And change it. Now remember, our new B is 3 by 1, so make sure to change these dimensions to 3 by 1. So 3, enter, 1, enter. And type in your new numbers. So let's see, I have 2, 6, and 5. Just like always, to find the answer, you're going to go back, just hit second and quit to get back to the home screen, because now I'm going to use the new A and B that I just created. So second matrix. Here's the new A and B that I created. So you want matrix A. Hit your X to the -1 button. Now second matrix. Don't forget to go down to B. Down, B. So make sure you have an A and a B here with a -1 in between. Hit enter, and there is your ordered triple answer. So when you enter it into Math Lab, remember you have to enter it as an ordered triple with the parentheses around it. So you'll have 0, 1, 1, close. Okay, I'm going to put number 9 on the board. So we'll do 9 and 11. Okay, because really there's no really math to be done on these. It's all just getting used to punching in the calculator. So all right, what I just said, which number? It doesn't matter. We'll do 9. So I'll put 9 up here and then pause it to let y'all work it for a second, and then I'll finish it. And then we'll do 11. So 9 is 3x plus 3y plus z equals 11. X minus 3y plus 2z equals -6, and 8x minus 2y plus 3z equals 9. Oops. So make sure that you write it down correct first. You'd be surprised at how many times mistakes are made just by writing the wrong numbers. Okay, so make your matrices off of that, and I will. Matrix A will be 3, 3, 1, 1, negative 3, 2, and 8, negative 2, 3. Here's A. B will be 11, negative 6, and 9. So let's put these in. So, second matrix. Don't forget, going over to edit. I want to make a new A that goes with my new number, so hit 1. It's still 3 by 3, right? I still have 3 rows, 3 columns. So just hit enter, enter. And type in your new numbers. So across the top row, I'm going to have 3, 3, 1. Second row, I'll have 1, negative 3, 2. Bottom row, I have 8, negative 2, 3. So again, I'll always double check this because if you make a mistake, just type it in numbers, right? It's not going to come out right. So 3, 3, 1, 1, negative 3, 2, 8, negative 2, 3. Okay, now make your matrix B. Second matrix. Now again, you're still editing, right? You're still creating a new matrix. So go over to edit and down to B. Hit enter. It still is a 3 by 1. So just hit enter, enter. And type in your new matrix B. So 11, negative 6, and 9. And then you want to get to the home screen. So second and quit. And just clear out anything if you have anything on your home screen. So now you want to use your new matrices that you just made. So second matrix. I want to use this matrix A that I just made, so hit enter. And then type in your negative 1 button. Then second matrix, now I want to use this B that I just made. So go down, make sure you get down to the number 2 for B. And hit enter. And then hit enter again to get your answers for X, Y, and Z, which will be 2, 2, negative 1. Okay, and then I'll just work number 11 just to get one more practice in. The only thing different about this one is it uses R, S, and T instead of X, Y, and Z, but it's the same kind of problem. So 6R minus S plus T equals 6. 3R plus 2S minus 3T equals negative 3. And R minus 3S plus 2T equals negative 5. So again, matrix here, and matrix here. So across the top row, I will have 6, negative 1, positive 1. 3, 2, negative 3, and 1, negative 3, 2. And then matrix B will be 6, negative 3, negative 5. All right, let's do this last one. So making a new matrix. So second matrix, make a new one. So I'm going to go over to edit. Still 3 by 3. So just enter. Type in my new numbers. So 6, -1, 1. 3, 2, -3. And 1, -3, 2. So make sure they match. 6, -1, 1, 3, 2, -3, 1, -3, 2. Now make your new matrix B. So again, second matrix, make your new one. So go over to edit and go down to B. Hit enter. Again, it's still 3 by 1. So just hit enter. Get down in your matrix and enter your new numbers, which will be 6, -3, -5. Get to your home screen, so just second, quit. Now you want to use the new matrices that you just made. So second matrix, enter, right? Because you want to use this matrix A. Then your X to the -1 button. Second matrix, don't forget to go down. You want to use the B that you just made. Enter. Hit enter again. So your answer would be 166. So again, it's just getting used to typing these into our calculators using that matrix function. These, if we would have worked all of these problems out by hand, it would have taken us 3 class lessons to get through all of this, okay? So it's very beneficial to use the matrix function in your calculator for these. All right, so I've already taken roll, so if I don't have any questions, then I will see y'all on Monday.